Hi everyone, this is Aria Craig, your empowerment and leadership strategist for moms, particularly single, divorced, and blended moms. And I have this segment now that I'm going to be introducing to you today, but I'm going to have it every other Thursday at 7 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. And the segment is going to be called Ask Aria. I get a lot of the same questions from moms here and there, whether it's in person, via social media, via email. I get some of the same questions, so I'm assuming, I guess it's safe to assume that a lot of moms are struggling with the same types of issues or ideas, and they just need help or a little bit of advice or suggestions and support with moving forward. So I've decided to have Ask Aria every other week. 7 o'clock Central Standard Time, 7 o'clock p.m. on Thursdays to deal with issues around parenting, relationships, being a leader in corporate America, or even starting your own business, which is actually the series of my books. So this question actually was a good question that came in through my Facebook platform. Someone wanted to know, and I'm just going to read the question to you. And this is more so of a question that I'm going to read from someone who had a question that they presented to me. I'm going to give an answer, and then it's only going to take up maybe about good 10-15 minutes of your time. But I would like your feedback. Please offer your feedback. Please email me if you have any questions. At the email address is aria@ariacraig.com. That's aria@ariacraig.com, and you can also go to my Facebook page. It is the lead. I think I have it Strategist for Moms, and you'll see my banner in the background. It's going to be an Aria Craig banner talking about the Single Mother Diary series. So this actually was a good question, and it was a good lead-in question to what I have at the end of this session. And the question, like I said, came from was a Facebook question, or came from a Facebook platform. And the question reads, I am in the process of writing my own book, but don't know how to publish it or where to start. I'm scared that not enough people will see it or like it. So this was actually one of the things that I have noticed, because people come to me and ask me, how did you start your book? How did you become a best-selling author? And I have to be honest with you. And this is one of these sessions where it's not going to be scripted. I'm just going to kind of say it out there and give you the answer. One of the first things that I suggest that everybody does, and I don't know if anyone else agrees, but I can just tell you from my personal experience, I did things backwards because nobody told me what to do. Nobody told me or coached me or consulted me and how the process was going to work. You know, a lot of people think that all you have to do is write the book, publish it, and then send it out there and tell as many of your family, friends, and coworkers, and then you're done. And that is so far from the truth. I can tell you from personal experience, there are some people who are going to be your family, your friends, your coworkers, your neighbors who are not going to support you. They may say, oh, that's good, and congratulate you, but they're really not going to support you in your efforts. I do have some family. I'm going to say I have family that have been very supportive, friends that have been very supportive, people that I worked with who have been supportive. But there are some people, especially people who are really had a higher expectation that those particular people were going to really go out and help me in this initiative because I've done so much for them, or just because of the nature of our relationship, and it didn't happen. So I'm going to tell you, don't expect for everybody to be in your corner with this. But I will tell you, if you have not already started your book, or if you're in the process of like if you're in your middle of it, you're in the beginning phases, or if you're in the middle of it, I would encourage you to start building your social media platform now, like your fan base, getting your Facebook likes, or I should say your Facebook friends up to a certain number, getting involved in different social media groups, getting your LinkedIn numbers up in terms of people who you're connected with. That is so important. And every now and then on social media, and I don't mean like once a week or once a month or anything like that. You're going to probably have to do this maybe a few times out the week. When I say every now and then, I'm not saying all through the day, because you have people that post on social media all through the day, every day. I don't even do that because I don't think it's healthy. I got other stuff that I have to make sure that I put in place to support my clients and to support the community. So, but you do need to put little things out there to see how people are going to react. Like put something out there, like a little excerpt, or put now social media. I should say now because they've had it for a while. You can create a poll and kind of ask some questions to kind of gauge the interest of your book. But I would not tell people what the name of my book. I wouldn't tell people, if I were you, what the name of your book is going to be. I wouldn't even tell them exactly what you're writing about. But I would kind of gauge their interest with a little, excerpts and little pieces here and there, and kind of again start getting more engaged and connected in social media groups, because that's the kind of the way we are now in technology. We are just really focused on what other people are doing outside of our own homes in the world, and everything is the way we're connected is through social media. So I would advise you to start building your social media presence before you do anything else while you are trying to work on your book. That's probably going to be, if you're not a social media person, that's probably going to be the most difficult part. It's not even really writing your book, because writing your book, by the time you write it, it's done. Now it's like you got to sell it. After you've already built up that presence and that fan base and getting connected with people in groups and things of that sort, is when they are going to be interested in your book and knowing more about you and what you have to say about your book once it's done. But you want to build that hype and that awareness and get people interested in it in the meantime, and have them to grow it, have them to share what your work is, have them to share your posts, or you can even in the meantime, like this is what I did for the second book, because I didn't even know when I went in doing the first book. I'm more wiser with the second book, and I figured I'm going to start backwards. And actually, for the first book, I did not self-publish completely. I self-published maybe about 85% of it. This one, I went all out on my own and self-published 100%. So this was the first book, is volume 1 on tips and wisdom on being a fabulous and successful single mom. By the time I did volume 2, I was already building the presence for the second book. And what I did was I started doing things like showing the cover, how the cover is going to look, then how the back of it, the front cover is going to look, the back cover is going to look. I have a testimonial from somebody who has read the book and they really loved it. If you can get someone who has a lot of exposure, who is somewhat of an entertainer, or I wouldn't say entertainer, but someone who has more of a presence that people know. I don't really necessarily want to say like a star or someone who's a celebrity. If you can find a celebrity, that's good, but someone who really has a really good foundation and presence in the community. Like I'm out here in Illinois, so Chicago, finding someone in Chicago, if you can find someone in Chicago that could be their presence, that's good, and who will take a very good interest in your book. But again, I would say building that social media presence on your social media platforms and getting connected with those groups is a good start while you're building your book. That's going to let you know whether or not people like it. That's going to let you know whether you need to tweak anything. The second part of it is when you said that you're scared. Well, do that part first. Again, get that part done first, because the publishing part is going to be the end part of once it's done, and then marketing it is going to be like the piece that you're going to be doing for the rest of the time that you have this book. So, but the part where you're saying that you're scared, I really want you to take the fear out of it, because if you are going to be driven by your emotions, you're going to stop somewhere in there. You're going to be discouraged. You're going to be unhappy, because again, you're not going to get the support that you thought you were going to get. You're going to get to a place where you're going to feel like quitting, and you don't want this to be something that you work so hard on and you're so passionate about, and you allow your emotions to actually drive the decision. So get somewhere in a space where you're going to say, no matter what, this is where you feel like you're in alignment with. You're being led to write this book, to put this book out there, and stick with that. Like continue to be in alignment with the energy that's focused on you getting this book out, with not with you being fearful of what other people think, because again, the whole part that I told you at the beginning with the social media part of it, asking questions to gauge people's interest, to see if you can do some tweaking, that's going to kind of help you to decide. I'm going to tell you now, everybody's not going to want to buy your book. I was at an event actually that I did some speaking for, and one of the ladies that was supposed to be monitoring the camera and the amount of time that we were speaking, she even told me, she's like, I'm not a single parent, so I'm not going to buy your book. And I'm just kind of like, she said it in so many words, and I was just like, okay, but I think everybody knows, one, a single parent, two, this is not written just for single parents. It was written from my perspective as a single parent, but there are a lot of parents, whether you're single or you're married, a single parent, a divorced parent, or you're married, you can take a lot of tips and wisdom out of this book. But the way she said it, I was kind of like, okay, I had to realize that was her decision. I can't be upset with her, even though I wasn't too fond of the way that she said it, but I can't let that drive my emotions. She's one of billions of people on this earth. I can't, she doesn't buy it, then okay, it's not meant for her, or maybe she will wind up buying it later on. I don't know, who knows? So you can't be upset with every little thing that's going to happen along the way. It's a journey. It's a process. Your most successful people will tell you they failed. They failed at some point, here, there, and multiple times before they realize the lesson or the formula in what they did in failing is what helped them to make the fixes and the changes and the adjustments for them to succeed later on. So don't be afraid. Don't let that drive you. Really get into a place of centeredness and knowing that this is what you're supposed to do, and allow that confidence to really manifest to the point to where you're going to move forward with this decision no matter what. So that being said, I am going to be offering, because I get this question a lot, actually. I get this question a lot. I decided to put together a webinar, a free webinar that I'm going to be hosting in the next couple of weeks on how to write, not just writing a book, but the process for publishing, self-publishing, and being a best-selling author. So, and it's a lot. I'm telling you, if you haven't, the main part of of that particular webinar that I'm putting together now is going to be making sure, is the piece that I just talked about, making sure that you are increasing your social media presence. And not just that, but going out to different groups. If your book is going to be about children, you want to be going to schools, elementary schools, you want to go to child care centers, you want to go to libraries, anywhere that they're going to have children, to where you can actually sit there and read your book to children, so the kids go, ooh, ah, and it's going to be visual, and the parents can buy the book for their kids. And it's going to be to where you're going to have to build up a whole a strategy. I'm trying to think of a whole plan, a whole marketing strategy around you selling this book. So like I said, in a couple of weeks, I'm going to do a social media. I'm sorry, not a social media. I'm going to do a webinar on. It's going to be free, completely free. I'm going to give you some tips on becoming a best-selling author. It's going to be about self-publishing, because I did everything on my own. I didn't go through one of your big-time book publishing companies. I went through the self-publishing route because I wanted to keep my voice and my identity for my experiences from what I write in my books. So I'm going to talk to you, kind of go through the steps of, the main steps on self-publishing and being a best-selling author. So look out, stay tuned for that. Going to learn more about that. If you go to my Facebook page, it is the Aria Craig Facebook page, and it's called Strategists for Moms. You will see Aria Craig in the banner, and you will see my books in the banner, and you'll see my picture on the banner, and you'll learn more information about when I'm going to have that webinar, which again is going to be in the next few weeks, within the next 2 to 3 weeks. I'm trying to set everything up because, again, I get this question so much, and I want everybody to be prepared. I've heard people tell people to write out an outline, create an outline for your book. Well, that's cool. That's one of those things where you're saying, how do I get started? I don't know how to even write this out. Like, my thoughts are here, there, and everywhere. How can I put this together to where it's in one it's on the actual pages and it's cohesive and it's flowing. That's one thing. So that's actually writing the book out. Again, it's not just about writing the book. You need to be having the where. If you're serious about it and you're going to do it, start building the awareness. Build the awareness. That's so important. Build the awareness and the presence about the book. Start gauging people's interests, their suggestions, what you're hearing them say or what you're thinking they're saying. And again, don't give too much information about your book, especially your title, because you haven't written it out to copyright it yet. That's going to be another part that I'm going to talk about in the webinar. But if you're serious about this process, stay tuned. Again, go on my Facebook page. You're going to learn more about when I'm going to give this webinar on becoming a self-published best-selling author. Okay, so that's it for now. Stay tuned again for that particular webinar, and also in 2 weeks, every other week on Thursdays at 7:00 p.m. I'm going to have something. I have a YouTube page that I have digging in the crates. I did like all of these videos on Periscope last year and earlier this year, and I'm going to put them, because I don't even use really Periscope that much anymore. What I'm going to do is put them on YouTube for you guys to see my old vintage videos. So they have a lot of substance, a lot of meat, a lot of inspiration, and I talk about things that I'm going through with child support issues, things I'm going through at my last job that I wrote about in this here book, things that I go through with my son's dad, which I wrote about in this here book, and tips on parenting, again, relationships, which is going to be the third book that's going to come out next year, because my husband and I do a lot of speaking. We've been on the radio, we've been on panels to talk about blended families, because it's blended family households have their own dynamics. So anyway, I just wanted to come to you 7:00 p.m. Remember, set your calendar every other Thursday. 7:00 p.m. is going to be Ask Aria, and the alternate Thursdays are going to be the Digging in the Crate videos, again, which have a lot of substance that you really want to share and listen to, give your suggestions and your ideas, and I will respond back. Okay? So until next time, I will see you later. Bye.